This team, I think, has shown in the past 2 weeks, Kevin, just subtle signs of fraying at the seams a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The starting pitching's been okay. It's middle of the pack. It's been better than we thought it would be, but I'm starting to see some fraying in how the game is played. And the one thing John Gibbons always talked about when this team was rolling is not only were they winning games, but they were playing good baseball.
Mm-hmm.
You're starting to see signs now. And this comes, I guess, from you don't have Brett Laurie. And I think we now realize just how much Brett Laurie is missed from this team, how much he brings to the table defensively.
Energy.
Energy.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you, I spoke to guy on the coaching staff the other day, and I said, all right, what do you see that concerns you? And he said, you know what? Sometimes we're real dead ass.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at him and he said, sometimes we're a real dead ass team without Brett out there.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there's not a lot going on.
Sure.
That concerns me a little bit because it's like anything else, Kevin. The more you play bench guys, there's a reason these guys are bench players. The more you play them, the more they get exposed.
Mm-hmm.
And this gets to my point that I think a lot of people during this road trip, they're going to be keeping one eye on what Alex Anthopoulos is doing as much as what the team is doing. Because I think you need another position player in here.
Sure. Well,
pronto.
I think also it depends on who you're playing. The last couple of series, I mean, they're playing some really good teams that are fighting for playoff spots. I mean, right now it started. I mean, the playoff run is. We can forget about the first 2 months. It started now. You can see these teams doing every little thing to win these games, whatever it takes. Can the Jays do that? It looks to me like the Jays need that one guy that can play multiple positions more than they need to go out and get a number one starter. To me, yeah, it would be nice, but you're going to have to give up the house to get that. Are you willing to do it? I'm not real sure you're going to see that happen because they do have a good team. They have a good mix of players on their team, but they need that one guy at the back end of their lineup and on defense that can do multiple things, can play shortstop, can play second a lot, can play a little bit of outfield, and can handle the bat, can do the little small thing. That's the difference I'm seeing from now and earlier is they're not doing the little things like moving runners over, first and second, nobody out. You have to move the guys. There's no excuse for that. I mean, that's something you learn early. People have to know their roles. You have to know this is what I'm here to do. I have to learn how to do it every day or I'm not going to be here. You heard Greg Zahn say that yesterday after the game. Anthony Gose has to do small things. Mm-hmm. First and second, nobody out. You have to bunt the guy over. You have to get it done somehow, or you're not going to be here. It's little things like that. So it tells me, I think, if I were Alex, I'm looking maybe to strengthen the defense-wise, the hitting-wise of getting guys over, that one guy that can come and supply some energy. That's what you need, a different face on the field that knows if we get in this spot, even if he doesn't start, I can call on him to get a bunt over. I can call on him to hit and run. I can just do the small things, and not real sure they have that guy right now that can do that.
Yeah, as I watched Anthony Gose yesterday, and look, I've been one of Anthony Gose's big defenders in this organization for an awful long time, but I found myself thinking last night, all right, I'm reasonably convinced that the Jays are going to be playing meaningful baseball in September. And that's a phrase you're going to hear a lot of this summer. But nonetheless, it's the apt description of, I think, what every baseball fan in this city is looking for. And I watched Anthony Gose yesterday, and the first thing that goes to my mind, Kevin, is, do I want him up in that situation in September 20th? Mm-hmm. And right now, I got to say the answer is no. Well, I think we're seeing, and that doesn't mean that Anthony Gose is a lost cause, but I've made this point often, Kevin. As much as I'm a fan of his, he's young, but you know what? He's been up in the majors 4 or 5 times. Like I get that you're young, but at some point you stop. At some point you stop being a prospect and you start becoming a young major league player. And it's not always just the age in the calendar. It's not just always a chronological age. Yeah, guy's young, but to me, Anthony Gose has been up here enough. He knows what he's got to do. There's no, There's no great mystery here. That really concerns me with Anthony Gose. If this was his first time up, I'm going, okay, we're riding the learning curve with him. But I'm seeing a guy who at one point this year was able to do those little things that helped him, I don't know what the right word would be, helped him survive. I mean, that's what it was for him. When they brought him up, they were playing well. They were scoring runs. It was sink or swim for Anthony Gose. And you know what? He scraped. He fought by. He survived. He did those things. Now I'm finding a guy that it's almost as if that little brief run of success he had didn't happen.
I just think it looks worse because it's coming up. He's coming up in big spots. He's coming up in situations where you have to have a bunt. You have to get a guy over. You have to not swing at a first pitch changeup when a guy gets on base via a walk. Some way you have to get a guy in scoring position. It just seems we don't want to seem like he's not the only guy on the team.
No,
I mean,
no,
we're not trying to be so hard on him, but it just seems the last couple of days it goes back to the point of you have to have that one veteran. It's hard to have quote unquote rookie guys on a playoff team because everybody's looking up at the Jays now. Everybody's trying to beat the Jays because you're going to have to win the East to make the playoffs. It's good with as good as the American League is. You're going to have to win the East. So, how many wins is it going to take? Are you going to have to? Do you keep letting young guys make mistakes like this? I don't think you can allow this to keep happening, and because you're going to face good teams, you're going to have to go to Boston, starting to figure it out. Like you said, Tampa Bay starting to figure it out. You have to go to these places late in the season and win, and it's going to take a bunt. It's going to take a hit and run. It's going to. Now, defensively, he may be one of the best defensive outfielders we have, but, hey, it comes down to can you do the small things. And right now I just think it makes it the point where you have to look at going out and getting a veteran guy that knows how to do all these things that you don't have to tell in the eighth inning, guy on third base, I don't have to give you the sign to bunt. I don't have to give you the sign to get out in front of one and roll one over to move a guy to third. I don't have to tell you to do that. So I think, Alex, you're going to see him hopefully go out and try to find that guy.